I still love that. I don't know. I don't know if you got to see that or not because I'm not sure. I'm still working on timing of things, but good morning. Dobre ranok, dobre jutra. Buenos dias, sahanamrosno, and all that jazz. So today, yeah, hang on a second. Go quick cup of coffee there. I don't know why I drink coffee, honestly, but anyways, today I'm going to do the word of the day and a quote of the day, but I'm going to do that at the end because why not? I don't know. I'll probably start doing it at the beginning again because it gives me a gap to be able to deal with the lag if anybody wants to get on and see this live. So until then, what we're going to be covering really quick today is overwhelm. And I mentioned this last week, I think. And I came up with 5 simple steps on dealing with overwhelm. And eliminating overwhelm. There's a big word, right? Maybe I should make that the word of the day. But I'm going to break this down into some small steps that are very easy to do and made a big difference in everything that I'm doing as far as, those of you know, probably you don't know everything I do. That's fine. Doesn't matter. But I've got a lot of things going on. And I showed you guys this last time, but I made this. These are all, oops, now they're out of order. Oh, there's that. Oh, now my overwhelm just kicked in. The number one thing to start with is identifying all of the things that are overwhelming you. And to help you out with this, I put together a worksheet. Very simple worksheet. There's a link to it in the description or the down below somewhere. Within the text of this, there is a link to a Google Doc that you can use. I prefer and I recommend handwriting them, because it's just way more powerful to handwrite everything down. I'm going to run through the step 1 parts. There's a few parts to each step, but they're still very easy. So don't get overwhelmed at learning how to be not overwhelmed. That kind of defeats the purpose, right? So let's do this. I made notes because if I don't, we'll go off on a tangent and we'll be here all day long. Number 1 thing to do, like I mentioned before, is writing it down. Take everything out of your brain, and whether you do it in the worksheet that I have a link to, or you handwrite it down like I like to do, or you do it in a notepad or a Google Doc or whatever you want to do. Part of the reason that you get so overwhelmed, and that I get so overwhelmed with things, is because you have to remember all of the things. So then when you forget a thing, you're like, holy crap, I forgot the thing that I was supposed to do before, the person I was supposed to call, or the email I was supposed to send, and you're going to bed or something, right? So then it screws up your sleep, and then you're overwhelmed, and then it's just putting it on paper seems like it might overwhelm you because like this is a lot of pieces of paper. But now I don't have to think about it because now I know where it's at, and I can use the brain power that I have, which some people question, right? I can use that to focus on different items within my overwhelm list. So write them down. Identify all the areas that you have that are overwhelming you. List them out, list deadlines, the to-dos. You don't have to go into super detail. This today is more about just getting it out of your head. Get as much of it out of your head as possible. The reason that I write it down also, I'm going to show you these over and over again. The reason I write these down on all these little pieces of paper is because these are all separate things. Then it's not one giant list of stuff that's freaking me out. It's a pile of stuff that's freaking me out. But I can go through and I can pull out things the night before or whatever, and we'll get into more details on this. But I can pick one and put the rest to the side for later. So you can also break these down into personal matters, personal things versus professional things. When you look at the spreadsheet, or not the spreadsheet, the worksheet, you'll see that. But go into the emotions. Not big on emotions, but they are important. So go into the emotions of what each of those overwhelming tasks and to-dos is bringing up, right? Is it because you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing? You know you're supposed to be doing? That happens a lot. Or is it because there are things out of your control? We'll get into that more later also. Let me look at my notes here real fast. When you review these, the other thing to do is go through, review them, and see if there's any any themes coming up. Like, oh, you know what? Every Monday, I'm super overwhelmed when I wake up in the morning. Okay. If that's a recurring theme, then there's probably a reason why. You don't have to figure all of that out right now. Just identify it. Or on Sunday, I'm super stressed and overwhelmed because XYZ. Yeah, just identify them. Don't go into you don't have to go into any detail or anything like that. There's some little brief descriptions on the worksheet. But if we look at this real quick, write it down, number one. If you just write everything down, that's all you have to do. Write it all down. But if you want to go into detail, you can write it down, list out all the details of each area of overwhelm, and whether or not it's a personal matter, if it's something coming up in your personal life or professional life, the emotions and feelings around that, whether or not you're happy about, like guitar for me, playing guitar. I am super, super excited about playing guitar, but it adds to my overwhelm because you have to schedule time. You can't just play once a month and expect to get any better. So we'll get into removing things also in the future episodes. So to keep this short, go click the link down below, go get the worksheet, fill it out, or fill out your list on a piece of paper. And before we end, let me find, oh, what did I do with my word of the day? This is going to be fun. This adds to my overwhelm too, doing these. Not in a bad way, though. I'm going to pull this thing up over here and see. Word of the day. Rarefied. And it pertains to this, and that's part of the reason that I wanted to bring it up, kind of. Something described as rarefied is understood or appreciated by only a small and select group of people. Which is this? Because I think there's only a small group of people that like any of this and watch my ramblings and things. The quote of the day, I'll do that one real quick too. I move this up. Well, you're gonna have to watch me look down here while I read this because I can't move it up the screen. Yeah, that happens. I am not judged by the number of times I fail, but by the number of times I succeed. And the number of times I succeed is in direct proportion to the number of times I can fail and keep on trying. That was Tom Hopkins. I just learned that one last night. Honestly, though, I have no idea who Tom Hopkins is. So if you know who Tom Hopkins is, kudos to you, and let me know. I'll look him up. But that is all for now. Go get the worksheet, or at least handwrite out all of the things in your head so they're out of your head and onto a piece of paper of the things that are making you overwhelmed. And we'll go from there in the next steps coming up. With that said, have an amazing day, because it's better than the alternative.